A department under siege, the battle for education in America. The United States Department of Education found itself at the heart of a political firestorm on February 7, 2025. A contingent of Democratic lawmakers was barred from entering the agency's headquarters in Washington, D.C. Security personnel, bolstered by the presence of Department of Homeland Security police, blocked their access. This dramatic standoff underscores the escalating battle over the future of education in America. The lawmakers, including prominent figures like Representative Johanna Hayes, a former National Teacher of the Year, had intended to stage a protest. Their goal was to denounce the Trump administration's controversial plan to abolish the Department of Education. They also sought a meeting with Acting Secretary Denise Carter to voice their concerns directly. However, the blockade, justified on the grounds of security protocols and a lack of scheduled appointments, effectively silenced their dissent. This incident is not an isolated one. It reflects a broader pattern of attempts to undermine and dismantle federal agencies under the Trump administration. Similar protests and disruptions have plagued other government institutions, including USAID, the Treasury Department, and the Environmental Protection Agency. The blockade at the Department of Education is a stark reminder of the fragility of democratic institutions. It highlights the vulnerability of essential public services to the whims of political agendas. As the nation grapples with the potential dismantling of its education system, the stakes couldn't be higher. The future of millions of students hangs in the balance. The dismantling of a legacy project 2025 and the privatization of education. The Trump administration's assault on the Department of Education extends beyond simply defunding it. They are actively working to dismantle its very structure and hand over control to private interests. This radical agenda is embodied in Project 2025, a controversial plan that aims to fundamentally reshape the American education landscape. At the heart of Project 2025 lies a reliance on artificial intelligence. AI-driven audits would be used to scrutinize and evaluate schools, potentially leading to mass closures and privatization. This approach, critics argue, fails to consider the complexities of education and the unique needs of diverse student populations. Adding fuel to the fire is the deeply concerning role of Elon Musk, the tech mogul with a penchant for disruption. Musk, wielding considerable influence within the Trump administration, is directly involved in the Department of Education's restructuring. His vision for education, shrouded in secrecy and fueled by libertarian ideals, has many fearing a future where profits take precedence over the well-being of students. The potential consequences of Project 2025 are far-reaching and alarming. Federal programs that millions of students rely on, including special education services, Title I funding for disadvantaged schools, and student loan management, are all at risk. This systematic dismantling of public education threatens to exacerbate existing inequalities and create a system that benefits the wealthy at the expense of the most vulnerable. The human cost of austerity, vulnerable populations, and the fallout of defunding. The potential abolition of the United States Department of Education carries dire consequences for all students. However, the impact will be felt most acutely by vulnerable populations who rely on federal programs and support systems. Their educational opportunities, already fraught with challenges, will be further jeopardized by this misguided policy. Students with disabilities, often requiring specialized instruction and resources, face an uncertain future. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, a landmark law ensuring equal access to education, is at risk of being gutted. Without adequate funding and oversight, these students risk being left behind, their potential unrealized. Low-income students already battling systemic disadvantages will bear the brunt of the cuts. Title I funding, designed to bridge the gap in resources between affluent and impoverished schools, is on the chopping block. This will exacerbate existing inequalities, further entrenching a system where zip code determines destiny. Rural communities already grappling with limited resources and teacher shortages will face insurmountable challenges. The loss of federal funding will cripple their ability to provide quality education, forcing many schools to close their doors and leaving students stranded. A global ripple effect, international students, and the uncertain future of American education. The potential dismantling of the United States Department of Education extends its tendrils far beyond American borders, casting a shadow of uncertainty on the aspirations of international students who view the United States as a beacon of academic excellence. These students, often drawn by the promise of a world-class education and the allure of the American dream, now face a precarious future. Indian students, a significant and vibrant presence on American campuses, are particularly vulnerable. The potential reduction in financial aid and support services, coupled with possible changes to visa regulations, could create insurmountable barriers to entry. The Trump administration's rhetoric and policies have already created a chilling effect, making the United States a less welcoming destination for international students. The damage extends beyond individual aspirations. American universities, long regarded as global leaders in research and innovation, rely on the intellectual contributions of international students. Their departure would result in a brain drain, depriving the United States of valuable talent and undermining its competitive edge. The potential abolition of the Department of Education is not merely an internal American affair, it's a global issue with far-reaching consequences. It represents a retreat from America's role as a champion of education and a beacon of hope for students worldwide. The world is watching, and the stakes couldn't be higher.